15 minutes. Before you know it, we hit another hour off of one topic. But those are the good things.
So we're talking about today. Since we're going to freestyle, since we don't have no bullet points, Cody did bring one topic to the table.
Oh, man, let's just talk about overall life, man. How's life been treating you guys overall, man?
I'll let Cody go first.
Oh, man, I've been all right, man. You know, just trying to get back in our house.
7 months later.
7 months later, bro.
I'm still patrolling these streets.
Yeah, you know, I don't patrol like I used to, but yeah.
Talking like OG.
Well, I mean,
I don't patrol like I used to.
well, I mean, it's not my primary function.
Yeah.
You know.
A lot less stressful?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, no. You know.
To this bomb threats and shit at school.
Right.
That's when it gets a little. And I don't think, and you could probably clarify that. I don't think that's the stressful part. It's the parents and everything after the fact that happened. That's probably the stressful.
Well, yeah. It's the, you know, after something like that happens, you have, you know, 100, 200 parents trying to check their kid out of school after everything's already.
Social media.
Hey, but it's, I mean, you don't want to be that parent.
I understand it. I do.
Because I'd have been at the school 100 times. Every time something happened, be like, hey, you heard this? I'm like, no. But you think you could? Well, I'm not going to go to the school and patrol it. I go get the churn out of school, though.
Right.
You know, but I'm not about to go walk to the office and say, hey, what happened, y'all? No, so I done been in that mass swirl to check out kids twice myself.
I can't. I don't put myself there. I think you're adding to the chaos. You know, like let it get figured out. It's kind of like, you know, with the storm situation. I used to drive me crazy. Like last couple of years, every time we had bad weather coming through at 2:00 when the kids are on the bus.
All right.
Keep them at school an extra 30 minutes and then roll through it once. Like, I don't understand like why we start sending kids home and having to do these mass checkouts because at noon we're gonna get some bad weather coming through. Like, we stayed at school for bad weather.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We did. We did. I ain't gonna lie, but I ain't checked my kid out over no bad weather.
No, I get that, but I'm just saying little things. You know, I'm
right. I know I'm not
comparing,
right.
But I'm just saying like things like that. It's we just really quick to go like.
Well, I think part of that is, you know, you don't want to be that parent that left your kid at school, you know, if something pops off.
Yeah, I get that.
And I think that's what a lot of that is. So I understand it. And look,
it's more safe than sorry.
Right. And look, at that point, once everything's done and parents are checking their kids out, that's more stressful in the school administration because you have that many checkouts going on, you know, all at once. So, you know, it gets busy for them. My guys are just there making sure none of them parents get irate. And, you know, that's which you typically don't have. So that's not, I guess, stressful for us, you know, as much as it is for the school.
I just
So
I see all these parents going on social media, especially like the last thing that happened, and everybody was like, "Oh, why they didn't call the parents?" And we sat out here for an hour to check out our kids. Like, what you think they were trying to do? You know, their number one interest is to protect your children.
Yeah.
Like, what are y'all freaking out for? Because they won't answer the phone, or they won't like. They got a little bit bigger things on their hands right now. Like, there's only 5 people in the office. There's only 2 police on scene. Like before,
and they probably got 10 substitute teachers in the whole building.
And that one person is not by themselves trying to call.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
You know, it's
100 different people.
Yeah, right. So that phone might be ringing, but
and can't be
answered. One person at a time. You know, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I mean, that's people. Our society's getting to a point where it's not just like young people nowadays. It's instant answers, instant gratification. Everything has to happen now, like regardless of what it is. You know, like even when we do like, you know, lending now, it's people think because like there's companies that you can literally go to any online. There's a whole bunch of just online lenders. And you get approved and you get your money in 15 to 20 minutes, like direct deposit in your checking account. Everything checks out. You know, like, you know, they expect that same thing from in-office people. And it's like, we can't operate that way. I mean, we try to be as quick as possible, but we don't have, you know, we don't have that assembly line of...
You probably also don't have the amount of, you know, disposable funds that these national companies have.
No, it gets crazy, man. I mean, we've even do commercial lending now, and we've teamed up with a platform of lenders, and it's the same way. they're still a couple days. But I mean, for bigger loans. But and I even look at that going, how do you like? It's insane.
But,
we get banks, like we had a local bank refer a customer to us in Hammond, $250,000 loan. Bank referred him to. They said, "Look, we got her approved, but it's going to take us 10 days to close her." And we're like, "Okay." And he was like, "How long? How quick?" And we were like, "I don't know, probably 24, 48 hours." Like, he was like, "All right." And she needed the funds. She had 7 truckloads of shingles coming in.
Jeez.
And it was COD.
Oh wow!
Come on, man.
$250,000 of truck, and she was like, "I can't pass it up. We can't get the shingles in." Like this was a month or so ago. And
I just need a napkin because I feel like I'm gonna be sneezing for a while. That ain't gonna be enough.
Yeah, and it was like, yeah, and we ran it through on a Friday afternoon, 4:30. She contacted me. We put all her stuff in. She uploaded all her documents. Monday morning, she signed it. Tuesday morning, she had her funds in the account. And I was going, wow. Freaking bank couldn't do it.
Right.
And it's crazy how just quick everything. I mean, Amazon order something today, comes from God knows where. They get it in a day, 2 days max. Most things now. Used to be better.
But what a lot of those services, you miss out on that hometown feeling too whenever you're dealing with. You don't have that personal touch.
I love that meme that goes around and it says, "When's the last time Amazon sponsored your kid's baseball team?"
That's true.
It's like I love that because I couldn't tell you how many phone calls at the beginning of every season, basketball, baseball, soccer.
I know.
Beginning of every season, we get.
Oh, I know y'all get a million.
Every day for weeks at a time. Emails. Hey, will you sponsor? I'm like, how many little Susie's moms and dads? It's like, So, and then not only that, now we sponsor the baseball fields and the soccer fields and then the teams. And
so y'all signed the Bayou Country Sports Players.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to pay off for you in the end. I know it's a kind of nagging deal, but people always need money, so they got to come somewhere to get it. And if your name everywhere, 9 times out of 10 is where they're going to come to get it. So, you know what you're doing, man.
We're trying, man.
So kudos to you.
Well, thank you. So what's been going on in your world? I ain't seen you in a minute.
Man, so co-worker got a promotion that took him out of my hair but put him in the department above me. So right now I'm over like 30-something technicians. We probably hired like 6 new technicians from March to last Monday when one didn't show up. And new hires are horrible, man. And I'm not going to say anything, so if you remember where I work at, you just remember. But the work pool, like you read the women say the dating pool is a cesspool, man, you getting guys that's 40 years old coming to get a job, and just the common sense of everyday work is not in them. Like, picture you come to work, I give you a gas card, but you need a PIN number to fuel your vehicle. So we actually got to send off for the PIN number. So we get this new guy, he's from the service or whatever, like fresh out the service, but he in his 40s. So you thinking, all right, this guy gonna be pretty high speed, neat, not gonna ask nonsense questions, pretty much could gather everything for himself. So I work Sunday to Thursday. When you're a new hire, you work Monday through Friday. So on a Friday, you're going to be at work without your supervisor, but you're just sitting in front of the computer doing modules. So I'm like, hey, man, y'all have to go work in Hammond starting next Monday. You can't get in this vehicle until your fuel pin come in. He was like, all right. I'm like, so I'm going to give you everything you need for your vehicle, but you drove here in your personal vehicle, drive home in your personal vehicle. And if you get this PIN number today before you leave, you could take the van home. If you get this PIN number. Right. So I pull up to work on a Sunday morning and the van gone. But I told them to show up Sunday morning at like 7 because they was leaving the next day and they wasn't going to see me. And I was just going to make sure they had everything they needed to go. So he pull up in the van, of course, and he said, hey, man, the van needs gas. I'm like, you don't got no fuel pin? He was like, no. I said, well, why you in the van? He said, well, I was thinking, you said it was going to probably be in Sunday. I also said do not take this van until you get the fuel pump. So long story short, we talked about that. Then he starts to get into his actual route, and he sends me an email. He said, "Hey man, I have a doctor's appointment on the 17th and a post-op on the 23rd of February." I'm like, all right, cool. Here come March 23rd. March 22nd, he said, "Hey man, I got another post-op March 23rd. All right, man, go do what you got to go do." He started his own route last week, which was a Saturday. So he worked Monday through Friday, but he worked 410s, his regular shift. So he got out his training shift, go 410s. Our week start over on a Friday. So the Friday is his first day in his new schedule. And Saturday will be his last day until the following Wednesday. This guy comes to work. He don't come to work. I had to call him. He wake up at 8 o'clock. I'm like, "Hey, man, where you at?" He was like, "Oh, I'm just waking up." I'm like, "All right, well, you needed to be at work for 8, not waking up for 8, you know? So get yourself together and make it to your first job." At 9:25, this man goes home. I can see his GPS just going home. So I call him. He don't answer. I call him. He don't answer. He get home. He stopped his vehicle. He don't turn. He don't clock out. He don't go to lunch. He don't do nothing. He just stay in training. All the way till Wednesday. That just passed. So from previous Saturday to Wednesday, he just been on the clock in training. So he come in, I show him everything he did from the gas card to the emails to that. I said, "Man, you kind of like on a D-Day. Man, mano y mano, forget the company. I really don't trust much you say at this point. Like, you only been with the company 4 months. 4 months in training where you haven't even really got beat up by customers and needs the things you're doing. So you probably gonna fall out in this pool once the sun get here." They're like, "What you mean?" I'm like, "You not working when there's no work to do. When you got 10 jobs and ain't nobody answering the phone, you gonna get in your van and you gonna go home." So I told him he was on a D-Day. And everybody like him is just like that. Like, if they come from the technology world and they ain't grow up like us, don't expect what we do to get that from them. So that's just been the added stress. So by the time I make it home from dealing with grown men that act like babies, man, I eat, lay down, and it's over with. And I really don't even remember the next day when I wake up the next day. That's just how bad it's been. But it's also been a blessing too, because I ain't been stressed out or set up for failure from the other side. So numbers wise, the job's been great. Just the new people coming in, good luck.
That's the hardest thing about business, man. Now, any supervisor position, I mean, Cody could probably, attribute to that as well, just in getting new people. Like, if y'all got people that fall in and out of schools and coming in, like, where do you get those? Can you pull from the sheriff's office? Like, can you pull from, like, regular patrol people that apply? Or, like
to come into the school setting?
Yeah.
Like, that's normally where we pull
So you
from.
have to have some kind of...
Oh yeah. You don't come right off the street and go into the school.
Or the academy or anything like that. Like, nobody can.
No. You have to put in. Because look, what the academy's done, man. You got probably an additional 4 to 6 months of field training you got to go through, and I mean you technically still a rookie for like your first 5 years of doing the job.
And that's how I feel with us too.
Right, like it's so dependent. Look, people are different. Some people take to it like a duck takes to water, right? Some people after 6-7 years, you're like, bro, I don't even know how you still here.
Right.
And it's not that doing anything wrong. They just ain't grasping certain things that you would find simple.
Right. It's civil service, so there's so much more.
Well, not with us, but
y'all not
that's
civil
just
service?
not with the sheriff's office.
Oh, that's
we had
true.
the whim of the
Just
sheriff. But we're very selective, about who we accept. Like there's times we'll get letters in and we're like, we don't like any of them. So we're not gonna put that around people's children.
Right.
You have to have certain attributes.
How many SROs do we have?
With us, we have 4, me as a supervisor, and 1 other floating SRO. And the police department has 4 in the schools. All the high schools have an SRO.
That's ridiculous.
You think
funny,
so?
Man.
Nowadays? Like, so...
No, I think it's so, we should have 30.
But it's so much. I think it's probably a financial deal too with it.
Exactly.
That's what everything is.
Right.
Man.
Yeah.
So, and then the budget. I think our maybe like right now, our school has a new football coach, so I don't know how it's going to go for the new booster program. But I feel like a lot of things,
What you mean?
So I don't know how it works. Like when I coached with Coach Hill, I knew Coach Hill was over everything and he met with certain family members. I don't know if those same people that was in position are still going to be head over the football portion
of the
booster club. So
I get new families in. Dude, I mean,
I ain't understand nothing you just said.
I said if not, just get new, like,
right.
It just take place because I'm
gonna tell you this, bro. The man's already fundraising.
I know.
That's what I was about to go with.
So he seems to be on top of that side of it. Talking to him and talking to the kids. His head seems to be in the right place. The winning will come. Like he seems to be doing everything else right.
Yeah. I mean, he's at the melting pot. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know we done had some years where we haven't been top notch, but man, we get all the kids.
But that's public school in general.
What's funny, man? Like, and this is back even before we was there, but like Homer Junior High has always had a really good they're competing against the same competition throughout, but they're always undefeated, unscored on.
No, we were the only team that was unscored on, bro.
Well, I'm using it as an example. They're always a good team,
right?
They're always.
So we have a really good talent pool, and it's like when there's a really good coaching community at Terrebonne, and I don't mean just like good coaches, but like they get along. There's no infighting. Everybody's like on the same page. The talent shows, and it's like it's enjoyable watching them.
Right.
Man, these last few years, you can see that we've had unbelievable best talent that Terrebonne has ever had in individual players,
depth wise too,
and
outside of last year.
And they just like as a team, they're not good. Like
because they don't. So just from my experience with them. You know how when we went to practice, it was ones versus twos, and the twos took it personal when the ones beat up on you? It's not like that. Like, kids don't love this game no more. They like, oh, you on a football team. When you used to watch TV and say, oh, I won't go to school and wear my jersey. That's how it is. It ain't, you a starter? Man, I'm about to kick your ass at practice. You know what I'm saying? To where people get good. Like when you went down or somebody went down on our team, we plugged and play and ain't lose a step. On these type of teams, somebody go down, they don't play down. They don't play second person. They don't play third people. They don't get these reps. So when they get hurt, the coaches fall to pieces because they can't run what they was running already because this person don't know it. But in all honesty, that person sucked so bad at practice, you just told him to get to the side. You ain't make him feel like, hey, you got to get this done. Coach will tell us, man, Tori, you stunk it up. Tear you down. Everybody go in, and then they'll pull you to the side. Like, hey, man, you really stunk it up, but don't be down on yourself. This is what you need to work on. So now he got you thinking about what you did wrong, and the last thing he told you was, you're going to be all right. So it built your confidence back up. Man, kids leaving out the locker room like, me, I'm shit.
They leave at halftime. First quarter, they roll it out. They get pissed off. I couldn't tell you in the last couple of years how many games I've been to, and kids leaving, get an argument with the coach on the sideline, throw their helmet, and walk to the locker room.
Who would ever argue with any coach on the sideline?
Well, I mean, that problem has layers.
Oh, I know it does.
Sure.
Trust
layers
me.
of contributing factors to it.
Trust me, I know.
But a good coach, and I don't mean disrespectful to any coach that this has happened to, because it's happened to me on the rec side, so I get it. But a good coach diffuses that situation really quick, doesn't keep adding fuel to it, and say, I get you, son. I understand. Let's take it down. Let's have a conversation. This is a teaching moment. This is not a yelling moment.
But those are things that building you're talking about happens in a practice setting. That rapport that if I come down on you, it comes from a place of love. It doesn't come from a place of me just trying to chastise you and that kind of stuff. Those things come from that rapport building at practice. So if I do have to get on a kid during a game, they understand. Like it's not a personal thing. It's because I'm trying to push you to do better. I'm trying to do what's best for you. You can't get that if you're not putting those hours in that practice. Right. You're not investing in that child's I guess, for lack of a better term, that their emotional investment into the game. You know, I mean,
like when Toy, like we went ones against ones a lot of times in practice. Like
and it wasn't. They do those things in practice too. Well, I mean, it depends on what school you're at, I guess.
Right, there you go. I'm only talking about where we come from, and it wasn't happening. Like, if it was ones against, all I can say is, man, you would have had to be at practice. You would see linebackers that have one job and go completely the other way, and the coach tell them nothing.
But, and I will say this too, man. I think that as a parish, and look, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna preface it with there's some changes coming, but our quality of coaching and the investment that our parish as a school board puts into that, it's going down over the years, man. Like that they don't pay coaches properly here. They don't support them properly. They don't.
I can believe that.
So your quality of coach is going down over the last 20 years. You know, now there's a change in the helm, and we'll see from what I'm being told. You know, at least the pays will go up a little bit. That should help with hiring better coaches. You know, we just have to see if the atmosphere changes too, because that makes a big difference. You know?
Right.
It's kind of a culture, man. Like the culture around, like you said, supporting these kids, getting better booster club. You know, like you know, and I definitely take some blame and fault on that, because like I don't participate in the booster club.
Me neither. And
I would like to, but I've always hesitated because of all the bullshit.
Right.
Because I didn't like what was going on. So why am I gonna contribute?
Right. But it's not just because Terrebonne has a decent booster club. The part of the issue lies with the actual school board itself. It lies with the way. And I'm not picking on this one school. You know. Because sometimes the administration's hands are tied with the things they can do and what they're getting from pressure from above, right? But that has to change if you want to see the quality of coaching come up, because people will start coaching here and say, you know what, I can go right here and make another parish, make more money, and have a more supportive system.
Right.
And not talking about just boosters. I'm talking about in general, like all the way around. You know. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. So, like, my whole intervening for that is just to be more hands-on as alumni.
Right.
Basically, just because some of the stuff that you see in the coaching, not even the coaching, just the players, that's stuff that wouldn't have been tolerated back then. And not saying that we come from a better generation or better coaches. It's really just keeping the kids still kids. Kids nowadays really think they're adults.
That's true too.
If they don't respect the man in you, and you got to understand as a coach, you can't tell this kid one thing and tell this kid another thing, because kids are going to talk, and then they're going to bring that to their parents, who in retrospect going to tell the kid their perception of the coach.
Yep.
And once the kids see that the parent doesn't respect the coach, you're not getting that respect already, because, well, my mom, I didn't talk to my mom, my dad, they know you trash, so when you make me upset on the field, I'm just going to react like I need to. And coming from where I come from, we used to always want that parent involvement, and now actually seeing that parent involvement, I'm like, the parent's the real cancer.
Yes.
That does play a part
games, they screaming at the coach about just how bad he was and how the call was, and I'm going like, man, since when y'all became football coaches? like you didn't see that guard did not get out and pull, and that D lineman comes straight up. If your old son is not a super athlete at this point and can't improvise, everybody playing Madden now, so they think they're play caller, because or they think then it's like, you're not with these kids during the week. You don't know what they can and can't do. You don't know what they're really good at. Right. You see them in the backyard juking somebody. You're like, oh, my kid got some moves. Right. So it's like, it's tough.
Right.
It's just like, with flag football. My daughter has a flag football team, and this year I was like, you know what? I'm not going to coach. Like, I'm not going to sign my name on a coach, because I get so frustrated. Last year I had 13 kids on my team. I never had more than 5 at practice. I always had 13 at every game. And it was tough, because especially with last year, we had 4 girls on our team. And the girls always showed up for practice.
Right.
The girls were ballers. Like, they wanted to play. The guys would, well, I got soccer, I got basketball, I got this, I got that. It's like, I get it. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna help where I need to be helped. But this year, I'm not stressing myself about all of the stuff. Because when I get into something, I'm all
into it, right.
So I was like, you know what? Same thing this year. We sign up, get everything going. First practice, first game, coach says, I ain't going to make first game.
The coach?
Yeah. He said the only reason that I signed up was because they said if there was nobody to coach a team, that they weren't going to have a team. I said, they told me the same thing. And I still told them, well, then disband the team.
Right.
If y'all can't facilitate it and y'all can't keep it going, I said, because, and I talked to him, I said, you have so many kids that it's tough. So this year, my first game, I'm like, you know what, I got your back. Like I told you, I was going to help you as much as I could. I'm here this game. We coached it. We did it. Everything was all right. Next practice, because we had 2 practices before our first game. We had 5 at one, or 8 at one, and then 7 at the other practice. Like, can't even run almost, it's 6 on 6, so you're barely running a full anything. Never the same kids at the practice neither. So
so it ain't even no chemistry.
No. So we tell them, look, y'all got to start coming to practice. Y'all got to start coming to practice. Well, I got soccer. I got this. Like, dude, we had a practice last week, and 3 of them said they couldn't come because they had soccer tryouts. Soccer tryouts were right next to us. We were practicing on this field. The soccer tryouts were literally, all the other kids were like, why are they over there? They got soccer tryouts. And it's like I look at parents. Well, it's the travel. They're trying out for the travel teams. So I get it. But at some point, you got to pick. You got to be committed to something. No, I want my daughter to be in everything she wants to be in. But things that are competing and how are you ever going to find out what you're really good at if you don't at least dedicate some, majority of your time to one thing? And look, maybe it is the soccer, or maybe it is the, whatever else they're doing. But especially in this league, because that F&A league, the little Drew Brees football in America, it's like $150 to sign your kid up. So it's not like $25,
right? TBR fees, right?
No, you get fire-ass uniforms, and they tell you every year Drew Brees is going to come at the end of the season. He ain't never showed up. 2 years in, we ain't never seen Drew Brees. But, just little things like that. But overall, the facility, the practice, it's all online. You set your roster. They know, their system is good. But to get to buy-in from the community and the parents that say, hey, look, y'all need to be involved and stay involved, and man, it'll be a good fundamental league because man, you want to see some true athletic kids. Go to a 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th grade.
I'm actually starting a 7-on-7 team. Me and Cleveland Bingham actually building it right now just to come up, but we don't really, because it got maybe 4 or 5 teams down here from Thibodeau, but they take the best athletes. No, kids, but they take the best athletes. And you guys know, coming from where we come from, you could be the best athlete, man, but on Friday it takes a team. You know what I'm saying? If I could get a whole bunch of guys. Come out to the sports complex Friday nights. So every Friday is when the games are for the F&A league. All right.
And you'll see they got 2 kids on our team that nice. You could just, because this is the first, last year we were able to be on the field with them. So I can be in the huddle, I can call the plays, y'all got any questions? We can design play right then. If you had a baller, you're you about to do some backyard shit, razzle dazzle, flea flickers, you can design it right on the spot, and it was great. This year we real, you got to be
on
call the plays from the sidelines, call them in. So it's a little harder because you still got kids that never played before.
Right.
But you got some broken down plays, and they still scored touchdowns off of them. It's man, that's just it's.
Flag is nice though, man.
You see the true athletic ability.
Never done flag, man.
It's not made for you and I.
Yes, it is, dude, man. So
it's made for. I love Cody, he's my boy, but Cody's hands are made of stone.
You can learn. I ain't gonna lie, man. So we kind of.
I played, well, not with you, but we played against each other for a long time.
Right. And so Stellum, the team, and the Gators team, it was a team full of Caucasian fellas, not athletic at all. Team used to beat the shit out of us every Saturday.
Them CMB boys back in the day. You know what I'm
saying? But in their retrospect, they always had a referee in their pocket.
There we go.
If the game get close, he always call it a bad call. I remember playing them in the ship one year. and we was up 6 on them with like maybe like 30 something seconds left in the game, and it was like 4th down and 30, man. You hear me? 4th down and 30. Man, they quarterback rolled out, threw a bomb, and Gerald, my brother, was guarding the receiver. The pass was underthrown. The receiver looked back, my brother looked back, the ball hit him in his calf. They threw a pass interference and made it a spot foul. But guess who the referee was? A team we just beat the game to go to the ship. And you know me, I'm a shit talker. Oh, I ran this man in the ground. Boy, that man threw that flag. Oh, man. I was like, man, you serious? He was like, yeah. I'm like, and it's a spot foul? He like, yeah. I'm like, man, that's a 15-yard penalty at best. You gave these people the ball inside the 10 on an underthrown ball. The receiver was never going to catch it, you know? And that was probably our only time making it to the championship, and we lost by 2. People scored the next play and went for 2.
The hardest thing that, like, for Cody and I, and even now me, when I play with the kids, and especially in this league, there's no blocking.
Same.
Like, but no, I mean, when I say no, they call.
If you stand in the way.
If you stop, you good. Like, if you run a play and the ball gets caught and you stop, you know, and then you kind of design, you know, that you design plays to where, hey, like, I'm going to run this route, you run this one, you catch it, you stop, and you cut inside.
Right.
Like, if you stop, you okay. If you turn around and you make one step towards a defender, they going to call blocking.
And that's
I played flag football twice, like 2 games. I got ejected in both of them.
Of course.
For blocking.
Putting your hands on people. Well, but physically
over talking.
No, I didn't. Look.
Touching people.
Yeah. The first time the little rusher was rushing in, and I hit him in his chest, and he fell down. I got a flag for unnecessary roughness. Nobody told me that.
You can't use your hands, right?
So he comes in again. My hands behind my back. I shoulder checked him. He went down. Got flagged again. I didn't know. He said you can't move. So the next play, he comes in. I stand in front of him. He comes out, load my shoulder. Got flag. I kicked out. Kicked out. The other game, they get the one time I get thrown a ball, they throw it to me. I'm running. I can't juke, man. Look at me. I'm not a.
Oh, don't tell me you dropped your head, Cody.
I did. I smoked it, bro. And look, for a touchdown, I was excited as hell. Got ejected. So you can't run people over. So why is the rule not that he's got to get out of my way?
Right. You
know? It technically is, but you have to avoid contact at all. Like,
yeah,
you have to avoid.
No, look, my buddies are laughing their tail off because they knew what was going to happen.
Right.
Like, I felt like I was set up for that.
Right. Oh man, that's funny.
I did not know. I thought it was like a rugby type thing. You know.
Yeah, that's a Jerome Bogan thing. Jerome Bogan the same way. He gonna stand there and he gonna say, "Hey, now you know you can't run through me. You gotta go around me." And then the moment you run through him, the next play, Jerome dropping his shoulder on you, using his hands. He like, motherfucker, I gotta go to work tomorrow. You ain't gonna tell him to stop running through me? I'm gonna run through him. That was our team problem all the time, man. But it was fun as I don't know what, man.
It is fun, especially if you get a bunch of, you know,
well,
talking
man.
shit and going, but like, you know, all in good fun. It's a blast. I miss the YMCA league when they used. I don't even. They do. Do they still have?
They
it?
do it, but it ain't ran like when Pat Patterson and the person before Pat Patterson ran it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was nice then. It was costly, but it was nice. So
it'd be nice to get, like, if the FNA, if they had an adult league.
They trying to do one with Turbone Parish, but the dude Rowdy over it, and it's more
we're not
like
gonna have parish recreation much longer.
Oh, I know.
Parish.
I know.
Oh, it's going down, bro.
Well, I think they purposely
making it go down
because there's no reason, like, of the actions that are taken to do things. There's no reason for it. You know, like, you're driving kids to go play travel sports.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what everybody kids are doing.
They get to charge for usage of the field.
Yeah.
For travel sports.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still.
That's why they're doing it.
But at the end of the day, you know what's going to happen. So you charge them for use of the field. Lafourche Parish is already kind of pushing everything that way. Yep. Turbone Parish got to be careful because we gonna bite the bullet. Even with jobs, it's moving that way. You know what I'm saying? So the money you taking away from just your TPR sports that possibly could help build something, we losing it. You know? And I am not going to lie to you. Everything in Lafourche Parish does seem a whole lot nicer when you go into the sports part. You know? So That's it. But while we on Terrebonne, I mean, I ain't really want to bring this up. What y'all think about old coach and the court charges?
Oh, didn't he plead guilty or something?
Yeah.
I think I read.
And then I think he got like 3 years suspended sentence, and then on probation for such.
I don't know. I didn't hear nothing about it.
I mean, it ain't been broadcasted. I seen a few Facebook ads on it where Coach Claymore took that. So, but damn.
I figured.
Figured though.
I figured that it was.
I don't know the ends. I ain't read it. I don't know nothing on it. I don't want to know nothing on it. I don't want to know nothing on it. But just the overall imagination on it,
my phone rang like 10 times that day, and text messaging calls about, oh man, like what you think? I'm like, I ain't known the man in 20 years.
Right.
Like, yeah, he was our coach for a couple of years.
Yeah, right.
He wasn't my positional coach. He wasn't I knew of the man, but
there wasn't nobody I held a conversation with one-on-one. Right.
I did coach his son in rec ball, in football for a couple of years, but again, it's at the same time. So he came to a couple games. He picked Caleb up from practice. Hey Jed, how you been? Good, coach. It was passive conversation, but we never. He never got involved in the team. There was no. I don't even really know how his background in coaching. Besides, he was at HL before he was with us. That's all I know about it.
And then a little bit of Vanderbilt.
Oh, Vanderbilt. Yeah. So I don't. I think it's overall sad.
It is.
A grown ass man puts himself in that position
in the school. Well, in the school, and that's the bad part about it. I'm not giving him no just due on anything, but just the fact that you've been a school employee for probably half of your life.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? How long them urges been in you?
Right.
And I got a kid. I got a daughter. And I understand these kids might make advances at you with you being a grown up and you looking at them and you being able to see that they not the regular kids that grew up when you was teaching at a young age. But man, at some point you got to have some type of control.
You got to understand that these are still kids.
Yeah.
Right.
I would hope that that they consulted these victims prior to accepting plea deals and giving them suspended sentences and jail time.
All right.
I don't know how that. They may have consulted the victim. The victim said we file with this. I would just hope that happened and an injustice wasn't done to the victims of these crimes.
Yeah.
Because that seems like a light sentence to me. But I'm not a judge or a DA or nothing like that.
Definitely, man. It definitely seems like it.
So 0 jail time?
I don't think. Probably the couple of days he went when they took him from school.
What's that?
They pleaded guilty to 3 counts of indecent behavior with a juvenile. Said avoided jail time.
Avoided jail time. Yeah, bro.
Right, you're actually a sex offender.
Yeah, but man, you was in a school.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It ain't like you went to a job and talked to a McDonald's and talked to the same chick every day. This literally premeditate. You really looked at this chick and was.
Yeah, bro.
We were talking about the last podcast, being a Disney employee.
Yeah.
You know how many Disney employees are pedophiles?
That's probably
man.
That's probably where it's gonna work next.
It's insane. It's a very high number of Disney employees that were pedophiles. It's oh shit. You would think it's a perfect job for you, and I'm not trying to but
I definitely understand.
It would make sense to be oh yeah, that would be a good place if you'd want to go work to kind of but I don't know how you do a better job at filtering that. I don't know the history if they. You can't be a registered sex offender and get a job at Disney. I can't see that that's in the policy.
I wouldn't think you could.
I'd hope not.
Yeah.
Disney got way.
I would think that would come out. You know what I mean? With as much pressures and ridicule they're getting right now, I would think that it would come out if these people were already registered sex offenders and Disney hired them. So there's gotta. I don't think they hiring these people knowing. I'd hope not. Anyway.
Yeah. But it's funny that we talked about that. This guy's 3 counts, admitted counts of sexual misconduct with a minor. No jail time. Kill a bald eagle, go to jail 5 years, mandatory.
Right.
Fight a dog.
Like, yeah.
Fight a dog. You go in, you're losing everything, and that's so bad because you want to humanize everything, but the one thing you should dehumanize, you give a tap on the shoulder for.
Go catch some redfish or whatever.
Over the limit, huh? You at least got 72 hours in the bin,
Right,
huh?
Yeah. It's true.
Right.
And we
you
laugh,
spend-
but it's sad, man.
It is sad, man. It really
You
is.
can harm people and not have anything.
But then you
harm-
wonder why you get instances where, who was that former heavyweight UFC fighter that shot at that pedophile?
Oh, it's Cain Velasquez.
Yeah,
just recently.
Yeah, and you wonder why people do shit like that.
Yeah.
But you let these damn
Yeah,
pedophiles
Cain.
back out on the
Nah,
street, man.
I don't condone what he did either. I mean,
I
he did-
can
what he
understand
did.
it.
We about to see it.
his cousin. I want to say it's his cousin, his niece.
I think it was. I think one
was
of
a
them was
niece.
his kid too.
I don't think it was, but either or, kid, niece, whatever, female relative, was molested.
Over 100 times.
And yeah, one time, 100 times. I mean, I know.
Ah,
What I'm saying is that I'm not saying it's, but it's horrible, right? Like,
Right.
one time, or you do it 100 times, is horrible.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
dude, he went on a manic rage after this cat, chased him down like through city, like it was a
yeah, you know why?
it was an OJ chase.
Because the
you know.
judge let him right back out on the
I
street.
get it. I understand. You know, I'm not saying that, but I can't condone it. Like,
Let me ask you a question. What's worse? Shooting at a car with a pedophile in it, or raping a kid 100 times? What's worse?
well, come on.
No, what's worse?
give us one. Hey,
What's
we
worse?
do this to him all the time.
What's
Give it-
Well, of course, it's raping a kid.
Okay, so why is a pedophile on the street, but his ass is still in jail?
You're a police officer.
I am.
So what's the difference of shooting a black man or shooting a cop? What's worse?
That depends on what the cop did. What the
See, it's just bullshit. You can sit here. Come on.
what the people did.
Why?
Because people are people.
Shooting somebody is wrong. Shooting a car is wrong. Molesting a kid is wrong.
Shooting somebody's not always wrong, man.
I'm with Valdez though, especially I'm sorry, Jay, whatever his name is.
Again, I'm not saying that I wouldn't do the same in that same fit of rage.
I
right?
probably wouldn't have shot at him
But what I'm saying is that
in the street,
you-
but I was gonna have to try to find him. Y'all
Oh,
was,
it was.
He went there to whoop his ass.
Oh,
Right.
yeah. And the dude ran from him. And he was like, "You gonna run from me?" And this dude chased him through the city for hours.
And then shot at the car, hit the dude's stepdad.
Yep.
hey, casualty of war, man.
Huh?
Had 3 passengers in the vehicle.
Yeah.
Him, his mom, I think, and his
So I'm
stepdad.
saying, like,
Oh, all right. So yeah, he involved other people
Yes.
that didn't. I understand. Well, yeah, and that.
So the boy, the daycare where his child was molested at, was run by the mama.
Oh,
The boy lived there and was molesting these kids under her roof. You can't tell me people didn't know, and the stepdad was there too. So I mean, to him, they all guilty.
where these kids disappear at for so long, or where you at for so long while this happening?
the daycare.
Right, but where the overseers at?
Oh no, I get you. I'm not.
Like I'm not saying go be a vigilante. Don't
I'm
get me
not,
wrong. but I can understand certain
I
types
agree
of
with
things,
Man,
man.
I'm not even lying to you,
Just
bro.
saying. I don't. It's not something
Like,
Yeah,
it
like,
got to be
I'm a-
something
I'm a-
regular for my kids, for me not to go vigilante.
And I'm gonna tell you like this, bro. Like I say it all the time. I say it all the time. Some things to me are worth going to jail over, right? And I accept those consequences. Some things ain't, you know.
Right,
And I'll just leave it at that.
right. I definitely understand.
I agree
that.
with you 100%.
At one point, everybody was like, the system gonna work and the law ain't gonna work. I really believe it ain't like that no more. You know what I'm saying? If it ain't a bait, like you get into a wreck or something like that, cool. But molesting kids, killing people, I don't see it. Especially with the gun laws, now everybody can carry a gun and wherever you want. I just don't see people waiting for authorities to fix things much longer.
Well, because I mean, you preach this all the time. Because they don't.
Right. But
Right?
But you know me, I'm a loving person. But lately, I've been feeling like Cody on the other end a lot. Like, man, love will get you killed out here, man.
Of course.
Love will get you hurt. Love will get you trampled, walked on. And yeah, God will forgive you, but sometimes you need a little roughness in you, man. And for the situations that went on in that school, ooh, and you know, Coach Claymore probably took the brunt for everybody and got off. You know, so
I
it
think there was
probably.
another guy that was involved in that with him.
I'm sure it
you
is.
know, I'm
You can't. We know
Yeah.
you can't. That's why I didn't
And
ask
that's
you
why
that
I
specific
didn't-
question.
there wasn't anything
Somebody
that
else
he
knew
got-
about it.
No, I don't think that they knew about it because that person would have got criminally charged. The other person's name that was brought up, there was never nothing that they could do anything
He got
with.
relieved of his duties.
No, he didn't.
Nope,
No.
he didn't.
Nope.
Finished out. I think he probably retired. Not yet.
Nope.
Yeah.
They weren't. I don't think they were exactly able to prove that those things didn't happen, but they couldn't prove that any of it happened either. Like there was no. It was a word against a word kind of a deal, and it not even so much a word, like a rumor that they looked into that nothing ever panned out of.
Right.
That's interesting. Yeah, but I don't, like I said, like with the, you know, I get it. I understand how your emotions take over and you want to
Protect
justice.
you know,
know.
some old kids later
Like
on.
I
even if it's your own
say
kid,
like
you
this,
know?
bro, because I'm with Tori, man. For the most part, I'm a live and let live kind of person, bro. Like I'm not a very violent individual per se, but man, if you bring violence upon me, like I have it.
I'm trying to return it.
Right.
Period. I'm trying to return it. I don't want to turn my back. I don't want to be soft to it and be like, hey, I'm going to call the laws and this happened.
Brandon, pull up that we were talking about earlier before we started recording with that police officer. Since I want to kind of segue to
For the next segment.
well, just to see where this is going to go, because Cody brought up just the question about what's worse, and it kind of makes me feel like two wrongs don't make a right kind of situation. You know, like we talk about how words can't lead to violence. We talk about we said that in previous episodes, and I don't know the situation besides what you've seen. I've seen both videos, but I just feel like we live in this is such a soft. Can you break? Okay.
No.
We live in such a soft society now, but then everybody wants to be hard, and it's like you can't have it both ways. You know, like you can't be offended by absolutely everything, and then everybody have a gun in their hip. You know, then we just the wild west and just say fuck it, and like it becomes what it is.
I get that 100%.
You know,
Yeah.
so it's like it's at some point it's like we need to. I don't know. I don't know where you go with it, but I don't know if Brennan can pull up the at least the explanation of the pullover, like why the guy was pulled over. Because I seen the videos.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The problem with a lot of these videos when they release it is they got redacted
edited,
stuff.
yeah.
They edited.
But there was a bystander that videoed it.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll be able to pull that one up. I got that one off of an Instagram feed that like it comes with a warning and stuff before you watch it.
Right.
But at least I want to read. I'll patch in the video, because I can do that if y'all want. But I the body image. I never heard why he pulled him over. He just said, "I'm pulling you over." And do you speak English? And like, I don't know why. Why did he assume he didn't speak English? Just because he wasn't answering his questions?
I'm not sure. I heard somewhere, it might have been on the news or something I read, or that the guy,
License plate violation.
the guy's family, like I don't think they're American. Like I don't maybe he had an accent. I'm not sure. And look, I didn't sit there and study the video. I watched it like once or twice. Yeah. I think there's some errors on the cops end. Like I said, I think the shooting's probably going to end up being justified. Morally, there's some differences that could have been, some different choices I think that could have been made, and you just have to see how that plays out in court. And again, I don't know the whole spectrum. I'd like to see the video in its entirety. But
Are you talking about the body camera?
the body camera, yeah, I'd like to see that in its entirety. Because look, I'll tell you this: there's a way to talk to people that can help not have situations get. And look, I know suspects shouldn't run, they shouldn't fight. Of course, I agree with all that stuff. As a professional, we don't want to add fuel to that fire, right? When you're pulling somebody over, whether they're irate or they're calm, you don't want to go there and
Escalate the
not,
situation.
right. You don't want to go there and escalate and your tone of voice matters, your mannerisms matter. All those things help to de-escalate something. Like you have to maintain that professionalism, and then if they choose to run and they choose it, and you have to escalate your level of force, then okay. But why give somebody anything to Monday morning quarterback about you? You know what I mean? So when you pull a car over, you got to be mindful of those things. You got to be mindful of your tones. You have to be mindful of just that you don't want to be that person that's adding to it. I don't want to come out screaming and
there's like a philosophy of language.
Right.
Tone and inflection and words actually mean things.
They do.
Right.
They do.
But not to our society anymore.
Right.
But again, I mean, you have to be, if you're going to do this job, you have to maintain professionalism. It's expected of you.
It's
And I'm not saying
properly.
that cop, if his tone was a little different, right? It may have made the guy feel a little more at ease. We can play this.
It's just nervous. Like, I ain't gonna even lie to you, Cody, man. And I don't know where it stems from, because some things have happened, but like, I'm nervous every time a policeman get behind me. And I never said nobody else. I ain't even say color. I said me.
No, I get what I'm getting at is even being a law enforcement officer, I'm nervous too.
Right.
Like, nobody wants to get pulled over, and
So I'm just saying, just on the verbiage portion, just sitting there, most people are already nervous. So when the cop come, hey, can I get this? Or like, it's been so long since I've been pulled over, I don't even know how I go. But it'll be, hey, can I get XYZ information? And I understand that. All right, here you go. Well, I'm stopping you for
Brandon,
this.
Go up, and you'll see what I'm talking about. With, like, I have no problem with. If I'm pulling Jared over and I hear an accent, and I don't know that he did, but if I ask him, do you do speak English, right? Like, there's a difference in inquiry and it kind of being smart aleck
being offensive
or being offensive.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So
absolutely.
I can ask the same question 3 different ways, with 3 different voice inflections, and it have different meanings.
Right.
Cursing.
Right? Yeah. The F word's a very diverse word in the English language. So again, I'm not saying that caused that, and I don't think that it did. But if it's done in a professional manner, we're not even having this portion of the conversation. Yeah. You know what I mean? So we have to kind of swallow our pride as law enforcement, and So again, I'd like to see the whole video.
Brendan, you ever found why he was pulled over? Like,
I think Tori saw in there something about a license plate.
Match is what the officer told him. And then nice vehicle that it was on.
So it's like a switch plate, which, that's a legitimate reason to get pulled over.
Right.
The car could be stolen, And he's asked for the guy's driver's license, but the guy chose to run, and then he chose to fight, and then he chose to take the cop's taser. I do feel that cases like this, you're going to see an even stronger push for increased training, especially hand-to-hand stuff.
Yep.
Brazilian
That's the first thing I thought
those
about.
type of things, right?
Is that program that you adopt the cop? That's because if that guy's trained, that doesn't happen.
Right. And I don't know the level of this guy's training. I really don't.
You can watch from his, like he had no guard. He was holding like the guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. And I'm not a martial arts guy by any stretch of the imagination, but I mean I've watched enough and listened to commentary. Like he had one, like he did the old training situation, knee on the back, kind of trying to, and it's like,
and it's 2 of them.
It's just one guy.
It's one guy.
So what other? Oh, so it never was 2 cops.
No, it was only one cop.
Just one cop, one suspect,
and one bystander that had a video.
You know, and look, we don't.
Yeah, I don't want to see that.
We don't. We train differently than you know.
I'd be willing to bet that Grand Rapids Police Department trains differently.
That's what I'm saying. Like
I think like as a unit, they don't. I don't think that. I think he was out of line. Like he wasn't practicing what he was trained. Because it doesn't look like I don't know the age of, but just in that.
But we don't know what he was
clip.
trained. I mean, they may never like what he did and the techniques he tried to use. Maybe by the book there. We don't know that, and that's part of us Monday morning quarterback, and we're assuming a lot. We don't.
Right, that's why I say I ain't want to see it, because we gonna just basically say what he could have done off of seeing what he did already.
But look, I will say this: when situations like that happen, you know, we dissect them. We look at them. We look at what things worked, what things didn't, what things we could have done better.
Do y'all do that as a department?
Yes, yeah, as a training division.
When things happen, y'all look at it.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And that happens nationwide. You know,
you know that. Or
no, I know that.
Okay.
Like, instances like this happen. Our state training
changes,
like
or at least adapts. And
they look at it. They see if there's any differences that need to be made. Like it's not just a local thing, statewide, nationwide. Situations, and that's what I said. I really think that this is one of those ones that's going to help lead to make it more grappling style training become more prevalent. You know, and it should. It's not just to keep an officer safe; it's to keep a suspect safe as well. You know, and look, I completely. The guy should have never grabbed the officer's taser. He should have been fighting. He should have complied. And those things happen. This doesn't happen, right? 100%. But on the flip side of it, I think with some better training, maybe it doesn't happen too. And
let's just let fleeing people run, man, and then call in back up and
but you can't
have
always.
them to. I know you can't. And I'm just speaking, not necessarily, because that's why I say I didn't want to watch the whole video. You know what I'm saying? But
because that dude breaks in your house, kills your daughter.
Right.
If it's still an if,
I get it. There's a whole bunch of them.
We can play if all day.
Right. That's why I ain't go with the if. You know what I'm saying? Because people not really breaking in nobody's house and killing your daughter. Yeah, I think he might get desperate and break it. I'm gonna go down where you saying.
I will say this: we train that if we have to pull a taser out and use it, we encourage a disengagement to utilize a taser to help prevent a suspect from even better reach it. It's a medium ranged weapon. It's not a. They have a close proximity option on it, but it's not as effective.
Right.
So
it just hurts.
It just hurts, right?
It's not
incapacitating.
Lock you up like the.
And that's one of the things that we stress to our officers, that if we're gonna have to pull it out, then disengage. Right? If you're not gonna disengage, utilize some other options.
Right.
If I can tase you, I can punch you.
Right.
Right? And it might look bad, but
we still alive.
Right.
and the other person doesn't have your taser.
Right.
Doesn't even have a chance to take your
right.
taser.
And that's again, different agencies train differently. And look, we tell our guys all the time. I'm not telling you don't tase somebody up close, because situations dictate. Sometimes you may have to, but if you have the option, it's always better to disengage and then go to a taser option, because I have that distance, and it gives the taser the ability to work like it's designed to work.
Right. Because I seen a security guard hit a chick with one from a distance. Oh my God, man. Did I laugh? But I felt sorry when she got back up. Man. It looked like she got hit with a Tyson punch. I'm like, oh my God.
It's an incapacitating device, man.
I'm like, oh my God, boy. When she got up, she wouldn't try to get nowhere near that security guard. She was backing up on her ass.
They had that one in, I don't know if it was on TikTok or Facebook.
But don't tase me, bro.
No. It was
that one was famous.
It was a person in, I say Walmart. It was a department store, being completely just irate, just wouldn't leave, and the guy was like, I'm telling you, man, I'm not going to put my hands on you. This is the last time. And he's like, I'm going to tase you. And he had his taser out. Now, I don't know if it was a security guard or a cop. It doesn't say. But she just kept walking. She says, man, this is your last warning. I'm going to tase you. And she turned around and she kind of just made a gesture like she like, fuck you kind of thing.
Right.
And he hit her. Dude, she hit that clothes rack and it was like a domino effect.
Is that a recent video?
I I mean, I just saw it like day before yesterday.
Oh, yeah, she had a knife.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right. She
Yeah,
had a knife.
yeah.
I mean, I don't care. It was.
Right.
That taser definitely
It
did
was
its job.
that,
Yeah,
like
right.
just.
Like took all the life out of him instantly. I say, Jesus.
God, if somebody ever says I gotta tase, you send a dog on me. Don't tase me.
No, don't send no dog.
No, but you know.
Oh, hit me with the taser because I'm watching these people get up in 30 seconds or less. That dog tassel gonna be about a 30 to 2 minute tussle. I don't want no dog.
I will say
on me.
this, bro. Like, because I've been tased, I've been bit by the dog, I've been pepper sprayed.
You've been tased, prong, like shot tased, or like with the whole.
Like prongs in, having to pop them out, like the whole, yeah. The taser's probably the most effective one as far as just completely shutting you
Because
down.
you can't. I mean, you can't. I mean, I see
It's
some
like
of them do. But
it's like the best way I could describe it is it's like having a muscle cramp, like a very severe muscle cramp
head to toe,
in every muscle of your body. Like I'm talking your eyeball muscles,
like Charlie
every-
Horse, head to toe.
head to toe, and it hurts a lot, but 5 seconds is over. You're a little sore for the muscles. That's the first time they've ever been worked out. So you're a little sore afterwards, but it's not like tase me over pepper spray. 100%.
Really?
That pepper spray
Lingers.
for me, it was 45 minutes before I could open my eyes.
Serious? So I had it happen to me in the service. And like standing in the line watching people do it, you thinking, man, you should get this shit, man. Because all you got to say is your name, your rank,
Right.
and where you're from, right? So that's preferably maybe 2 to 3 seconds depending on who you is. So standing in that line and you just watching people do it, bam, and they just dying out, and you like, man, these people weak. Man, well, it wasn't really pepper spray. We was in the gas chamber. So when I took mine off, I instantly threw up snot everywhere.
yeah, bro.
Man, I'm running straight for the door. Drill started saying, you ain't say nothing, man. Let me out of here. That's all I know. I can't say nothing. Oh, my God, bro.
So for the pepper spray with us, bro,
Oh, I probably had snot to my shoes. And it was still connected to my nose.
they spray you like in a Z pattern. Like they go across top of your eyes, across
Nose
where they
and
meet,
mouth, huh?
down under your nose and back up. And you got to stand there. You got to blink 3 times to
So you
make sure
gotta
it's
make sure it's
nice
in
and
there.
good in the eyes. Then you got to fight. Like you got to go fight one suspect, disengage, fight another one, disengage, fight one, take them down, call for backup, and then the fun starts, right? Where, like you said, you got snot down to your ankles, like it's horrible. You can't open your eyes. Like you might kind of be able to blink them a little bit, and
So-
it locks up.
You really sensing everywhere you
It's-
go.
it's-
Cody and I lived together for a short time when he was in the academy, and I remember when he got his pepper spray, he sprayed that shit in the bathroom. I
Oh
always
yeah,
remember that.
yeah.
And I wanted to kick his ass. He couldn't go to the bathroom for like. I was like, I opened it. I was like, he was like, yeah, I didn't mean to. I was just, and I was like, you couldn't. And I'm like,
Right.
no, that was my only experience of pepper spray. And I'm like, that's enough. I don't like.
And look, so they took us once our eyes were open and we're able to see, and you got maybe like an hour or whatever. We kind of able to.
Right.
They threw us in the gas chamber. And they put them damn gas canisters in there, and we didn't have no gas masks. to
Well,
start off with.
right. So y'all straight getting it.
But I threw up twice in the damn thing, and then they, because they made us stay in for like 30, 45 seconds. I feel like 2 days.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And it look, when it hits you, all that pepper spray you had, all that
It's
stuff's
gone.
reactivating. It's bro, it was miserable.
But it's
That's what I said,
instantly
tase
lock
me.
up,
Yeah.
man.
How do people fight that? Like you see these videos.
Because
of these dudes,
you can still
bam,
fight.
getting nailed and
Oh no,
taken.
no, the taser. So this is. There's a few things. It's an electronic device, so
It can fail.
It can fail. That it's a less than lethal option. I mean, people fall out of airplanes and live, right? Like
Sure.
it just. So it's not 100%, but sometimes it's bad maintenance on it, right? Sometimes it's a faulty taser. Sometimes it's right. It's the dart placement, right? So the higher the spread, the more electricity it has to travel to go through it, the more incapacitation you get. Depends on the person's body makeup. So if you have a higher muscle content, it's going to be more effective on you than if you're just a big blob, right? So all those things matter. The type of clothing you're wearing. Now, taser technology's come a long way where the electrical currents penetrate further now. So like it used to be when they first came out, you wear those big starter jackets,
Wasn't going through.
rolling the dice, bro. Now the electricity itself shoots out like that far. You know, so it penetrates a lot higher levels of clothing now. It penetrates most body armors. You know, so and not the darts. The darts are only, but it's the electric current that shoots out of it. And then once it connects,
All over.
it's all over. But the funky chicken dance,
Right.
like it sucks, bro. sucks.
I never want to feel that.
No, me neither.
Like it's a very unique feeling. It really is.
Yeah, so is licking a 9-volt, but I'll take licking a 9.
Yeah.
And that was weird after a while. Nah, I'm not gonna mess with that no more.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, I don't want to experience. That's why I don't understand when people say, "I'm gonna tase you." How you gonna? I'm laying on the ground.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
And most people do.
Yeah.
You know, if you're standing at Walmart with a knife and arguing with a cop, you're probably not in the best mental state
Correct.
that you've been in your life. So you're not making the best decisions at that point. You know, so I mean, you would
Makes
think
sense.
you would think that if I pulled a taser out, that but you're trying to rationalize an irrational mind.
Correct.
You know, and that just doesn't mix.
Right.
But I mean, I don't want to say most, but that maybe it is most of the bad things that happen in your world is because of that. Would you say that?
What you mean?
Like most of the things that go south, tasers or any kind of, things that happen in those natures is probably because most of those people are mentally,
a mixture of narcotics.
Well, that's what I mean. Like
emotions and mental status. Yeah.
I'm
It's fair to
always
say.
rooting for mental status. I think in certain situations people just black out.
A lot of times it's a combination of all three or one or two. You know, you may have a highly emotional mental person. You know, that's
on drugs.
That's never a good mix. And then you
a
have a highly
cocktail.
emotional mental person that's self-medicating with narcotics, and that's a recipe for heartbreak. You know.
Yeah, that's never no way that it ends well.
Right.
Not in most cases. You know, I mean, there's you can as the narcotics start to wear off, and then, as you kind of build rapport with them, sometimes you can talk them down and get them at least understanding enough to want to see tomorrow, kind of thing. So it just, like I said, it's tragic, man.
It is. I know we were talking too. I'll kind of start winding this one down a little bit, but we were talking before we started recording, and I've kind of purposely distanced myself from getting into rabbit holes on social media and stuff, and started reading more, and kind of want to challenge us as a group to do the same thing. Not necessarily pull off social media or anything, but just get yourself out of a comfort zone. Cody and I talked about this in the past about watching things, and so Tori brought up one of our first episodes about watching. You gave us a movie to watch, and I never watched it. I forgot the name of
What it was.
the movie.
I'm gonna remind it because I think I started watching movies again. I know it was something. Was it Harriet Tubman movie?
No, it was. I remember with the premise of it. There was it was a guy that his member of his family was killed by a police department, killed by a cop, and they kind of was trying to be vigilantes, right? Like he was injustice.
Oh yeah, what it was?
Oh, someone would have took over a police department or something.
Yeah,
like that.
the one where he took over the police station and he just wanted the cop to actually say that he was sorry. And like from the jump, I'm like, oh, he ain't gonna make it out no matter what happens. No, even if he don't. And what actually happened at the end, the cop that actually killed his son was like, man, he was wrong. He was scared. You know what I'm saying? And he shouldn't have never done it, but he ain't know what to do. And the guy actually had the gun. And he said, all right, for that sentence, you die. And he walked up to him and he pulled the trigger. It ain't have no bullet in it. And he told him, I never wanted you to die. I just wanted you to see how we live every day. And the bad part about it, so he said, man, I care about you for that, and I'm sorry I took your kid. And if I know this can't bring him back, but if we leave out of here, would you mind letting me walk out in front of you? And I'm saying to myself, like, the sniper, the moment you make a move to the left or the right, the sniper gonna hit him. And that's exactly what happened. So, I don't know, you gotta watch it. I ain't watched it since because I felt like
So, some of that stuff's Hollywood.
it is Hollywood.
for sure.
It is. But
I get the
Cody,
message.
ain't no man alive going to take over HPD
Oh, no.
or Turbo Parish, hold cops hostage, and walk out there alive. I don't think it's happening. Unless it's Coach Claymore.
Damn.
I don't see it happening, man.
Oh shit!
Anyway,
Yeah.
so yeah, that's kind of and I'll tell you I read 3 books this last month. I was talking about one. One is It Takes What It Takes by Trevor Mowad. It's kind of a just a positive thinking book. You know, they said, you know, they always said that his whole thing is that I can't prove that positive thinking works, but we all know that negative thinking does. Right? And that's what you know,
That's a good point.
he's Russell Wilson's mental coach.
And what's his name again?
Trevor Mowad. And it's I mean he's coached Alabama.
Yeah, I'm just putting it in my notes.
He's been a mental coach for Alabama through most of their national championships.
Easy.
He's been, like I said, he's Russell Wilson's coach, like they call it. He's, you know, mental coach. But his book is really good. And then just through searching through books that I want to read and kind of topics through our podcast, two recommended to me it's called Illogical, and it's by Emmanuel Acho, and he wrote two books. And the other one is Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man. And both of those books, I think, are what we talk about, right? But it comes from Emmanuel Acho. He was an NFL player, but he's Nigerian. So he was like, yeah, I'm a Black American now. He said, but growing up, I didn't, you know, his dad's a doctor. He grew up in an affluential area in Dallas, Texas. You know, he said until he got to college, when, you know, didn't really
see any of the stuff.
People assumed that he had that life, but he, you know, and then he didn't really realize until he was in college how, because then he was not in his affluential neighborhood in Dallas. He was just the Black football player, and he goes on to that, and he has. He has a podcast, and that's how I knew about the podcast. It's called Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man, and he had a lot of, you know, he talks with Matthew McConaughey in one episode. He talks with biracial, like white families that adopt Black kids, and kind of like, and then he asks them some very uncomfortable questions, and they ask him some very uncomfortable questions, and he talks about all of those in the book. And it's both of them are really good reads. If that, you know, a lot of things made me uncomfortable, like just reading them, going like, man, I don't think it's like that. But when you dive into it and you separate yourself, I hope that it gives people a different position on what other people look at and how they look at them. You know, they talk about white privilege a lot, and that's something that I've always been like, I ain't been privileged a day in my life. But when you truly hear, it's kind of like the Black Lives Matter thing. You know, when you hear people that support it and that believe in it, and you hear why they do and their explanation behind it, it's like, okay, you're right, I get it. But the knee-jerk reaction to white people that say Black Lives Matter, a lot of white people, why white lives don't? And I'm not saying they don't. You know, and until we've had the conversation and you hear it from other people, and I'm telling you have to separate yourself from the organization, separate yourself from the negative talks about it, and listen to what it means from that individual talking about, like you know, when Emmanuel is talking about in the book. It for me, I was like, I can see how. And that's all have that understanding,
right?
You know?
And probably from our very first podcast, we always talked about that, and maybe that's probably how we got our name too. Is I can't know what you're going through if I'm never amongst you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm with Black people all day. All we do is talk about Black things. We're not thinking it's racist. You know what I'm saying? But if we put in a group of white people over here and we talk about what we're saying, it's exactly racist. You know? And vice versa. But we take it as when we start taking racism, we bring it all the way back to slavery, because that's where we come from with racism.
Read
you know what I'm saying?
So he talks about this and breaks it down into a thing that he calls it when he breaks down. It's called racial bias. It's like he said, because white people call it like reverse racism. Well, technically you can't have reverse racism. If you look at the definition of racism, it's an oxymoron. It can't happen, right? It's not systemic.
Right.
On the reverse side. So, but white people and Black people have racial bias.
Correct.
And some racial bias is completely understandable and acceptable. right? Like it's well, yeah, that's how you live. It doesn't mean it's wrong.
Right.
Some racial bias is
completely
it's wrong,
racist, and
but it's not. It's not racist. It's just how you view things because of your life and how you lived, and that's when the conversations need to happen. You know, it doesn't. You know, because how you grew up, or I grew up, or Tori grew up. Like, none of us in this room are racist, but we all have racial bias. There's always something that you have thought in your life that was like, well, that was a white person thing. That's a black person thing. It doesn't mean you're racist.
Right.
And it's okay to have...
It's actually cultural.
You know?
You actually giving something to a certain culture.
Yeah, that's
you know
not about
what I'm
race. It's about culture.
Right.
And there's a difference there.
Well, it is, because I'll tell you, I mean, just employees. Like, I tell people, like, it's not a cultural thing. It's how you grew up, and it's, we do certain things...
It is.
Just because you're black don't mean you have the same culture.
Well, no.
It doesn't.
Just because you're white don't mean you have the same.
No, but that's
culture.
racial.
But
there's a difference between racial and cultural.
That's my point. That's what I'm saying.
You can put a white person culturally in and I'm using air quotes here, a black cultural environment, and that's going to be their culture. It's not a racial.
For instance, like when we say
I know they kind of get
coleslaw,
intertwined and mixed
you
up,
know what I'm saying? Like, black people pretty much hate coleslaw, but we only known it from either our white friends that had it or a restaurant. You know what I'm saying? Like, you never gonna go to a black house and say, "Hey, you got some coleslaw in there?" Because it's highly rarely we gonna have it. Even the stuff to make it, like, and it might be just lettuce and some other stuff. You know, but
I never had coleslaw.
And I'm not saying
the only time we ever saw coleslaw was in the Popeyes.
We eat it. They make them. My family does. They call them slaw dogs. They put coleslaw on top of a hot dog.
Yeah.
I don't eat it.
Right.
But
But
it is.
We never grew up with coleslaw. Like, that wasn't.
Like, when Thanksgiving come around and we start having the social media dish, that's a dish that black folk tease. Like, hey, don't bring no coleslaw to my house. You know what I'm saying? And it's racist, but it's not
It's not. It's a biased.
it's not one that make you feel like I got to hit you with the whip, or you got hit with the whip, or you got to run from the person with the whip. And
I take those things in good fun, bro.
Yeah, like, and that's all it is
like,
good
if
fun.
I'm coming to your house, you like say, bro, don't we bring no damn coleslaw.
Right.
Like, I'm laughing at that. I'm not offended.
I'm not offended at all, but and that's what we were saying. Like, the bias in a lot of things is just who you around.
Yep.
And until you actually around some other people and could see, because for instance, and don't take this wrong either, like, when something go wrong in the black culture, we all go on Facebook and say, that's why we can't get nowhere. You don't see no white people doing this. How many white people you know? How many white people you got on your social media feed? None? No, all right then. So stop saying that. That's the same reason why we don't talk about women on our show, because we ain't got no women in here. You know what I'm saying? So our opinion would strongly just be biased from a man's point of view versus having women in here to say, oh, well, no, we don't act like that because you think this, Tori. We act like this because of this. Same thing.
You need to get some women on this show, because there's a whole lot of equality conversations that I would love to have. But I feel like we can't have them just with us.
Right.
Like, it's not right. You know? What are you shaking your head for? You don't want to have those conversations?
It's going to be a long day.
Hey, man, but hey, that's the part of the podcast, right?
It's going to be a long day.
So we need to find us an Asian, an African American, and a Caucasian lady. Because they all different.
You're right.
We can't have...
We have to start with just one lady. Then we can get picky.
Then we gonna get in trouble if we start with one lady. We gonna be male chauvinist pigs because we just gonna be pouncing on one lady.
I don't pounce, man. That's y'all be pouncing.
Oh, all right. I'm saying that now.
But yeah, so I just want to, if we need to get back in as we get back in the routine of this, I want to get back into challenging everybody to, get uncomfortable. And let's grow, and let's watch things and listen to things and read things that
I like looking at both sides of things, man.
I know, that's what I'm saying. It's
I'm gonna read these books, but you're a year past with that movie though.
I know.
Well,
I didn't.
Wrote the end from it now.
Well, so the thing is, I went to watch it. I actually pulled it up. I think because it wasn't on Netflix. I think it was on Amazon Prime. I was like gonna rent it. And
I gave you a Fire Stick that got a little app on it where you can pull up any movie. So stop going to Amazon and all that. Just go to type it in. It's gonna come up.
Yeah. And then I went to, and my daughter was like, "What you watching?" And I was like, oh, "You can't watch this." You know? Like,
Yeah, she can't watch it though.
That's part of my, and it's nothing to do. It's just violence and that kind
that's
of stuff.
how it was, because it was like straight off just.
But
like,
think about
I got-
kids these days are not being censored like we were censored.
Yeah, but I censor mine. in my
yeah, I
house.
do
But
too.
like, it's funny because I got a big ass TV in my living room that'll have like Baby Shark on that son bitch, and I'm watching my shit on my little phone.
And they come.
You know,
Yeah,
pay all that
I
money for a
definitely
TV
understand.
so my kids can watch it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, she's 10.
Oh no,
Yeah,
she.
So,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm like, no.
I
Now,
thought
if my
that was the
oldest was
oldest
watching,
daughter,
like Jake's
yeah.
come watching, he would be like, yeah, I you know, that way it wouldn't.
But
I
10,
wouldn't
nah,
bother.
I don't
yeah,
think
she's
they need that.
yeah. So I was like, no, I'm gonna have to wait, and then I talked about it with Cody a couple weeks later, and then me and Kim were like, we gotta watch that show, and we just never went. You know, life happened, and we never
Life
watched it.
happens, life, and it goes fast
Oh,
when
man.
you think you could do simple stuff.
Yep.
But yeah, I know this is trying not to.
Yeah, man, I'm already
everybody.
getting texts.
Yeah, I know. Everybody is. So yeah, again, I want to. If y'all know something, get back in our group, in our text chat, and be like, hey, if you see something, you know, like
Right.
Cody sent me that video. I wasn't even sure what everybody was doing this weekend, so I know we.
Yeah, we kind of threw this
in
one
a couple
together
weeks,
because
yeah.
Well, I'm on call every other weekend now since it's not 3 of us. So, and last week I was on call. I thought it was gonna be something smooth, but my boss, I woke up to an email with so much stuff I had to get done.
Right.
I knew I wasn't gonna be
We
able to sit
understand
here
that.
and concentrate. So,
Well,
I ain't even
we got
gonna
some
come
new
blow it
equipment
up.
coming in, so a good thing is that with the new mixer board we got coming, we can patch in phone calls. So that would be
That's cool.
Yeah.
yeah, that was one of the biggest. I was like, you know,
That's
because
pretty cool.
we've messaged guests over the, you know, people that they were like, hey, I don't know, because we do this early Saturday mornings. So everybody who don't know,
Right.
and a lot of people can't get here
Right,
6:30 on a Saturday
Right,
morning, 7 o'clock on a Saturday morning. So even if we could interview and patch in questions, and you know,
Yeah, yeah.
there's, you know, so we trying to get a little better.
get
And it's going to help with you know, better technologies.
Right.
Now that Brennan is going to be on board, and I can pass off some of this production stuff to him and be like, hey, figure it out.
So Brennan, pull up our next guest.
Yeah.
'Cause,
Well, that's the cool thing. So we can pre-record, like on a new thing, you can pre-record things and just hit the button.
That's
and it's
cool,
going to
too,
patch
yeah.
everything in. It's going to less edit time because it's already going to be patched in
Right.
after.
Well, we moving up like George and Wheezy over there.
So
just time, man. You know, great things happen over time.
yeah, or with money, time or money.
Yeah,
That's how it happens.
Time or money.
both.
But
But when you take 20 vacations a year,
20
we know you got the money.
there you go.
Now the time might be a different thing.
I can't buy time, but I can always make more money.
Right.
You know, and that's the frustrating everybody, you know, in business. Whereas there's like, you know, if I only had, I'm like, I can, if you willing to do it, I can show you right now this week how you can make $1,000. But nobody does it, and everybody, well, I need this. I need an investor.
No.
All right, well, do this and make $5,000, and I'll triple invest whatever you raise.
I got $5,000.
You know, it's like, well, what you want to do?
If you gonna triple it, I'm gonna give it to you.
All right,
I'll
y'all talk about that off air.
But yeah. All right. So again, I want us to come up with something and challenge each other, and we'll make that
Yeah, absolutely.
kind of a public challenge to expand our
Give us a
horizons.
date,
Brennan,
then.
the same with you.
Give a follow up.
See something, read something, and you know, throw it in our group and be like, hey, you know, this is something we need to talk about, and we'll educate ourselves. And I promise you, our next podcast coming will be well more organized, and
Yeah.
you know, we'll have more talking
And
points.
we
and not
can
just-
take these for short videos too.
Yeah, for sure.
for
That's
a lot
something else I
of
was talking to Cody
right.
last week, and Tori, I'll do it to you, and we'll put it on air. Is that we need to start doing even short little 2-minute videos each other. Like, hey, send me a video. You got something going on? Make a video. Send it to me. We can edit,
I could definitely
put our
start
stuff
doing
on
that,
it,
man.
and you know,
Stuff.
it'll help keep our Facebook and Instagram and all that kind of YouTube kind of active between episodes and all that stuff. So
I'm gonna be a little bit more active. So if I go to kind of events and stuff like that, I'll start recording a little few events and give my perception
Blog,
of it. You
yeah,
know,
man, sure.
yeah, do a vlog. That's a great idea.
that way we could actually come down, sit down, look at it, and be like, "So Tori, you went to an AAU game and you saw some coaching tips, and maybe this happened. How the parents reacted in the situation." you know, and that'll be cool. Like, hey, this is where our AAU system seems to be transitioning to a lot. Like, I seen a video where people actually beat up the referee at an AAU game. You know what I'm saying?
Bro.
You know, like,
That's crazy.
wow.
I mean, like, beat him too.
Like, beat him. Like, multiple people beat him,
That's
you know?
horrible.
And then we got to get to these videos where, in my culture, multiple people are showing up at events to pounce on one person. Like, I seen something in New Iberia where like 5 to 6 girls jumped on this one female over some social
too, not long ago.
over a social media conversation,
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And I'm real happy that they charged them with attempted murder.
Really?
Yeah. That was just one of the charges, and they probably not going to get the attempted murder, but it's just to set precedent for everything else. But man, yeah, because me growing up, I cringed at watching people get jumped on by masses. Like, I would be like, I wouldn't even blame that person if they had a gun and they just came up shooting in that situation. You know what I'm saying? Because one wrong kick to the head, to the stomach, or anything, and they dead.
Encounter, right?
And then you gonna say, "Oh, I ain't really want to do that." What you mean? Like, what's sensible about 5 people jumping on one person?
Nothing at all. That's a
coward.
It's right. It's a fear of getting beat up, or you know, it just That's a whole we can talk about next week.
And that's the whole reason why I ain't do too much, because I just wanted to feel where we was at. I know it's been a while and we'll be here forever. So
I can talk on that forever.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so to wrap it up with you.
Well, y'all know my stance, guys. We back. We still want the love. We showed a little vigilantiness today, man. Cody, my brother. Don't touch them women, man.
Or the kids.
All them kids. Leave them alone. Shoot.
Yes,
but,
indeed.
man, y'all just keep the love, and hopefully this year we'll be a whole lot better with our topics, our interactions.
Yeah, we're gonna grow. We'll continue to grow.
For sure. What you got, Cody?
Nothing, man. Just I'm excited to be back and recording, and looking forward to the future of the podcast, and as we get on a more consistent schedule and those type of things. I'm excited to see the growth and see how things go from here. That's it.
Me too. And again, I always appreciate you guys and doing this.
I love you guys, man.
I enjoy it. I honestly don't want to get up this early on a Saturday morning, but I look forward to it, man. Like I do. Like I wake up now on Saturday morning like I do on Monday morning.
Yep.
Because I enjoy going to work, so Monday mornings are great for me. Like I
don't enjoy going to work. That's the sound. That's the enjoy going to work is for rich people. I'm just playing.
So anyway, we'll wrap it up. And again, like, follow, share, subscribe. Keep us going. We appreciate our love and support. Remember, the divide is not so wide.